Hello and welcome to another channel update video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, or maybe it hasn't, I don't know. I tend to like doing channel update videos, just talking about the state of shit. I try not to do them too often, but I definitely feel like it was worth addressing a few things, because it's been a weird one. I haven't posted a video in over a month, which is like a lifetime for me. Like, I think there's been maybe 3 or 4 times I've gone a month without posting anything in like the 13 odd years I've had this channel. Quite rare for me to go that long, and it always feels weird to get back into the swing of things. But it hasn't really felt like that long either, so I don't really feel that kind of, oh god, getting back to it, because it just hasn't felt like it's been that long. But a friend of mine passed away a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago now, and I wasn't close to him, so I almost feel like it's not worth anyone saying, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," because it wasn't my loss at all. But he was a guy I really looked up to and had a lot of respect for, liked him a lot, loved what he did. He was a friend from my wrestling days. Some of you might even be familiar with him. He was a frequent, he made frequent appearances on the YMS channel, Your Movie Sucks. But yeah, he was just like a larger than life guy, and so it was just completely surreal to find out he died. Still feels weird now, but I've basically spent the last month or so, well, it took me about 2.5 weeks to put together a tribute video for him, which comprised of, ended up being a 4.5 hour long video. 2 hours of it was wrestling matches that he had in the UK or against British backyard wrestlers in Canada. And then the other 2-ish hours was lots of people like me sitting in front of a camera talking about our memories of him. His name was Scott Henson, by the way, I didn't say that. So we talked about Scott, shared our memories, and I think it was good for some of us to talk about it and to kind of reminisce. But it was a weird one because it was like I was working on it every single day, every spare moment I had to get this thing done in a timely fashion, and wrangling people's videos and stuff. It was quite difficult, but it was like a nice comfort to be constantly working with all this footage of him from his wrestling days and stuff. So a nice distraction, but at the same time also a constant daily reminder that he was dead, and that was really shit. And then similarly, by the time I finished the project, it was like, oh great, I'm done with this now. It's such a relief. And then it was like, oh, I'm done with it now. I guess I have to just face the cold hard reality of it. And again, was not close to him, but someone I enjoyed talking to so much, and I regret so much now not talking to him more. So it's really reframed a lot of life for me, actually. I've been writing letters to people. I found that quite therapeutic, just to friends and things, and reminiscing and telling them how I feel about them. And I've written, like, I added it all up, and it's something like 40,000 words so far in the letters that I've written. So that's kind of an ongoing project now, and it just makes you think about your own mortality when someone around your age dies. We had Bray Wyatt a couple of years ago, or last year even. It was, I can't remember how long ago it was, and he's around my age, and Scott was just a few years older than me, so it was just like our numbers could get called at any point, and why am I worrying about a YouTube video or whatever it's just, that's just a random non-example, but like, there's so many little things that you fret over, and it's like, or even there's some things you feel like, well, I've got all the time in the world for that, and you just haven't. We're making I don't know, I've talked about this on my channel before, but me and my friend, we're making a trilogy of feature-length documentaries about the UK backyard wrestling story. We started production last year. I think I've talked about it a little bit, but Scott had agreed to take part a year and a half ago, and in my mind I was like, well, that we can do that whenever. Like, there's all the time in the world for that. And now he won't be in it because I waited too long, and it just makes, I don't know, it just, yeah, I've always been obsessed with death, and I attribute that to maybe my nan when I was 8 or 9 years old saying, you might have cancer, or whether it was loving the film My Girl, where the main character Veda is just obsessed with death and dying, and you know, so I've always been like unnaturally and more than most people, I think, obsessed with death, both scared and fascinated by it. Now I'm finding that it's becoming closer to being actually a reality and not just something that I obsess over. So yeah, I've been writing letters. I was working on that video. I then made another like preview documentary that ended up being like an hour and a half long. So this YouTube, the RazorwireReviews YouTube channel, has really taken the back burner. I'm good. You know, I've got a lot to be grateful for and thankful for, and I'm thankful that I'm feeling more grateful as well, and that I've managed to have some really meaningful connections with friends over the past couple of weeks who have really enjoyed the letters that I've written them, and it's strengthened our friendships and hopefully made some people realize I care about them more than maybe they thought I did. I'd recommend anyone doing it. It's difficult, but it's worthwhile, I think. Try not to leave things unsaid. I was expecting to get emotional doing this, but I am. Yeah, so things just haven't gone to plan, really. I wanted to make a nice video for my birthday because it was the 25th anniversary of me getting a camera for the first time, and I was going to show you the first thing I ever filmed, the first time I ever tried a filmmaking technique, and then I was going to bookend that with a film I made this year that's incredibly personal to me, and I felt like sharing it, but all my focus then was shifted to the Scott video, and I felt like that was more important to do. And an interesting, weird kind of culmination of 25 years of making videos and stuff is that that's something I'm able to do, and to do well is to do that kind of a tribute video to someone. But it still feels surreal that I've done that for someone who, yeah, was around my age. Anyway, sorry to make this a downer of a video. But that wasn't also the only reason that I took a little bit of a break, because I posted 3 videos, reviews of the Abashiri Prison release from Eureka, the Blu-ray set. 3 films from the Abashiri Bangaichi series, which I loved. I loved those films so much. I loved making the videos, did in-depth reviews of all 3 of them, put a lot of time into it. I spent like 2+ weeks on those 3 videos, and they died a death. You know, all of them struggled to hit 100 views. 2 of them still even haven't. And it was like, fuck, like I don't really care about views that much. And that is the good thing about the way I view my YouTube channel, I think, is that I don't really care about views or attention or comments that much. I care about comments. I always wish I'd get more comments and more interaction, just because I like talking to people about this sort of thing. Not for engagement purposes, but for me, it's like long term, I don't really give a shit. You know, long term, I'm proud of those 3 reviews, and I can look back on them and say I did a really good job on those. I've included a lot of good clips, and it's a well presented video, and I like it. I'm happy with it. But short term, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth to spend so much time on that, and I realized they're very niche films, you know, and like some of the Abashiri Bangaichi movies have like 5 people who've watched them on Letterboxd. You know, they're quite obscure films. But it was just like, man, all this time, and it just isn't really paying off in the figurative sense. So I don't know. I feel like I'm always going to be like, am I spending too much time making a video that no one's going to watch? That's always going to be a part of my psyche, I guess. And, you know, that hour and a half documentary I just told you that I made also, that's for like the Backyard Wrestling guys, and it has about 30 views. You know, I spent about a week on that one, you know, hour and a half long video. Had about 30 views, no comments, you know. But a few people said they enjoyed it and stuff, but that is really a passion project where I'm just really happy with the final result. And that is important to me, is how I feel about it. But with YouTube, it was like, oh man, that really sucks. And am I gonna have to start like finding ways to aggressively promote my video? There's even someone who said they didn't even see those videos. So maybe it is an algorithm thing. I tend to not get too wrapped up in saying, hey guys, make sure you hit the bell. You know, I don't like that shit really. You know, you can find it if you want to find it. But yeah, so that was a bit of took the wind out of my sails a bit. Um, and then that just dovetailed beautifully into the death of a friend, which is excellent. Anyway, so I just want to make an update saying that it's been a bit of a weird one. Bear with me as I try and get back on track. I have a lot of Blu-rays to review and talk about and things, and I want to try and I have a few ideas to do it in different ways than just my in-depth reviews that I spend ages on and no one really watches. Uh, I could just watch 10 Blu-rays and then just make like a 20-minute look at all these films I watched, and then I'll get like 1,000 views, and it's better for everyone. Um, but I prefer doing the in-depth reviews, which take a lot longer and yield a lot less, views or engagement. So it's just the way it is, right? And there's other things I wish that I'd got to already at this point in the year. I can't believe we're already gone halfway through 2024. It's going way too fast. There's lots of stuff I wanted to do with my No Stairway 25 thing. I have a lot of things filmed I haven't really tinkered with, and it's just like, I've said this before. If I've said it once, I'll say it another 37 times probably. I will always be drowning in stuff that I need to get around to editing and that I also want to make and will probably never get around to. So it's difficult. I'm never going to be able to fully let go of that, but I have to start trying more, trying harder to let go of some of these things. But it's a challenge. It is a challenge, and that's the way my brain works, unfortunately. Um, and it brings me roundly to the James Rolfe quotes, or the Angry Video Game Nerd quote, where he's talking about, I forget which game it was now, but he's like talking about like you're trying really hard to beat this game and it's impossible and it's difficult, and you're hating that you're hating the experience. You don't like the game, you think the game's a piece of shit, but you need to beat it, and that's when you realize no one cares. It's just you and the game. And I need to realize no one cares. It's just me and my fucking channel. But I will see it through to the bitter end. Anyway, it just feels like I don't know. It's hard to collect my thoughts properly or even know why the fuck I'm making this or what my point is. But I guess my general point is, hey, I've been through a little bit of a shit period the past month. That's why there's been no videos. That's why it might take a bit longer for me to get back on track with things. There's lots of things I'd love to be talking about, making videos about, but you know, I'm in a weird headspace right now. That's basically the gist of it. I should have just done that. I should have just turned on the camera and said, "Hey, I'm in a weird headspace right now. See you soon." Click. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. See you in the next one.